Big day coming up for Tennessee football for scrimmage number 2 of fall camp, and Josh Heupel needs to walk away today feeling like, okay, I know my center and I know my quarterback. All that and more, it's your Friday Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Vols. I am your host, Eric Cain. So glad to have you guys with us here this morning and making Locked On Vols a part of your morning routine. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. You guys know it, @_Cainer and at Locked On Vols. I am your host, Eric Cain. Member of the VolQuest.com team here in town, covering Tennessee athletics every single day, Tennessee football, Tennessee recruiting, Tennessee baseball, basketball, all that and more. And of course, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, this being Locked On Vols, where it is your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook, where new customers can get up to $150 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Go ahead and check out FanDuel Sportsbook on the safe, secure, easy-to-use app. Today's show is going to be a big one. We're going to have some fan responses, going to read off some tweets and some stuff from fans about the response from Tennessee going back from Nike to Adidas beginning next year. Going to play a clip from VFL Jason Swain on his show, Josh and Swain, that I think you guys will really, really enjoy. If you haven't heard it already, that's coming up in segment number 2. Scouting the opponent, revenge game, right, for Tennessee and Arkansas on October the 11th. That game is coming up this year, and of course, Tennessee's looking for some much-needed revenge in that game. Scouting the opponent, that is coming up on October the 11th in segment number 3. But here in segment number 1, my checklist for what Tennessee needs to accomplish today. All right, we did this on Friday's show last week because Tennessee had a scrimmage on Saturday. And now you're ending true camp. And what I mean by that is you are moving from this week to next week. You're going to have Friday, Saturday off. I think Monday's actually off as well. I think you might be a practice somewhere that's closed to the media, but Monday's the first official day of school, and you are moving into a mock game week. So what Tennessee is going to be doing next week is going to simulate what Tennessee is doing the following week, which is a true game week. It might sound silly and elementary, but I'm telling you, so much of that is just a mindset of knowing where to be, knowing what a practice week, knowing what a game week looks like and all that. So you're not wasting any time when you get to actual game week, and you're truly focusing on the opponent at hand, which, of course, Syracuse is the first opponent at hand. So you're leaving the last true week of camp, if you will, okay? And so Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel, in my opinion, needs to walk away from Neyland Stadium scrimmage this morning, okay? And needs to know, like, hey, I have a very good idea who my starting quarterback is going to be. I have a very good idea who my center on offense is going to be. And honestly, I think he already knows, right? He's not going to announce to the media starting quarterback. Okay, that's not going to happen later today after the scrimmage when he meets with us around 11:15. But he needs to walk away from Neyland Stadium saying, okay, in my mind, I know who the guy's going to be, and I still feel like, and we'll see what happens here before scrimmage number 2, but I still feel like Joey Aguilar is going to be that guy for Tennessee. I thought it in the offseason. I thought it when they went out and got him, following the whole Nico thing. I think Joey Aguilar is going to be the starter for Tennessee week 1. That's just my opinion. Now, Josh Heupel needs to walk away from the scrimmage knowing who his quarterback is going to be, though he's not going to say it publicly. Because, again, you don't have any time left, right? You need to give all those reps to Joey or to Merklinger if he's the guy, or George McIntyre, who's had a great fall camp, if he's the guy, right? That guy who's going to be starting at quarterback for week 1 needs to be taking every single rep. Doesn't need to be splitting any reps. Needs to be taking every single rep with the first team and so on and so forth for the next 2 weeks to get ready for Syracuse. So, number 1 on my checklist, Josh Heupel. I know he's got to review tape and all that, and I think he's already got a good idea. That's just my opinion, but he needs to leave Neyland Stadium tomorrow saying, okay, I know who my guy's going to be at quarterback, okay? And then from there, week 2, week 3, week 4, whatever, I'm not an advocate for starting multiple quarterbacks. I don't want that, but for your game number 1, you need to leave Neyland Stadium tomorrow knowing who your guy is. In the same fold, same thing at center, right? And again, I think Sam Pendleton's going to be the center. I do. He's been limited a little bit, not this past week, but the week before last. He was limited in the scrimmage number 1. And it was William Satterwhite that was out there with the ones, and I think that was because Sam Pendleton's been missing some practice, or did miss some practice. But I think Tennessee's best opportunity to get the best 5 on the field is easily with Sam Pendleton at center. So if I'm Josh Heupel, if I'm Joey Halsley, if I'm Glenn Ellerby, I need to walk away from the scrimmage tomorrow knowing, like, okay, Sam Pendleton's going to be my center, or or William Satterwhite's going to be my center. Yeah, not as much as the quarterback competition, in my opinion, but you need to be solidified up front on the offensive line. You've solidified the center, then your offensive line is going to be solidified. Again, you are leaving the last week of fall camp, true fall camp, and moving into a mock week. So number 1 on my checklist is leave knowing who your quarterback is. Number 2 on my checklist is leave knowing who your center is. And then number 3, hey, I'm intrigued to see who's going to be back in the fold, right? Mike Matthews played a little bit in the scrimmage, but he was very limited. He's been limited at practice. Does Mike Matthews get more run tomorrow or coming up this afternoon? Or I guess it's the morning, excuse me. You guys know I record this the day before. Coming up in the Friday scrimmage, does Mike Matthews get any more run? What about Colin Brazzell, right? Or Chris Brazzell, excuse me. Colin Brazzell is his brother who had the pick 6 in scrimmage number 1. Chris Brazzell. Kelsey Pope said that he and Braley did more than he has done to this point in a Thursday practice. Does that mean he's full go, ready to roll for the scrimmage? I doubt it. But does Chris Brazzell get out there and does he do anything in the scrimmage? Again, I doubt it, but that's something to look at. Braylon Staley, he's still out. He's not going to scrimmage, but I think he's starting to work his way back into the fold to hopefully be ready to go for week 1. I think there's a very good possibility with that. Same regards at cornerback. Ricky Gibson. Ricky Gibson did not participate in the scrimmage last week, but he's been back at practice this week. So Ricky Gibson at corner, along with Colton Hood, who had a red non-contact jersey on, but has been going through stuff this week. How full go is he in the scrimmage? A lot of these guys did not or were very banged up in the scrimmage last week. Jeremiah Thielander didn't scrimmage last week. Does he go in this one? I'm intrigued to see health-wise I'm intrigued to hear. Of course, we don't get to see. I'm intrigued to see who all was at the scrimmage and going through some things because Tennessee needs to be getting healthy. You are 2 weeks away from Saturday, from it being game number 1 and time to roll. So you need to start getting guys back out on the practice field. Fast start on offense. I think the offense finished better than it started last week. I think they found a little bit of rhythm, specifically in the run game, more so than anything. But I think the run game came along there, and they started to do some things on the ground there as the scrimmage went along. But it was not a good start offensively for Tennessee in the first scrimmage. And might I need to remind anybody here? Probably not. Tennessee was not a fast scoring offense, fast starting offense a season ago, being shut out in a couple of games in the first half. It's inexcusable. That doesn't need to happen, and that's so weird because this offense under Josh Heupel was such a great starting offense for the first couple of years in the system, man. Even in 2023, Tennessee was leading 21-10 or something at the halftime at Alabama. I know you screwed that game up in the end, but ultimately Tennessee's always been a fast starting offense until last year. Can Tennessee start fast on offense in the scrimmage later this morning? I'm going to be hoping to hear some good stuff in that regard. On the flip side, again, these inter-squad scrimmages, it's the tale of two swords, right? For Josh Heupel, if the offense does well, that's great. What's going on with the defense? If the defense has another dominating performance, that's awesome. Gosh, can the offense get anything going here? That's what preseason's all about. So you want the offense to start fast, but also that offense is able to run the football very effectively in scrimmage number 1. You hope to still hear that, but what's that mean for the defense? You hope Tennessee's defense does a better job of slowing down the run, of stopping the run here in this scrimmage for sure. And then last thing I want to hear that Tennessee took steps in improving in is pass pro. I heard pass pro was not very good in scrimmage number 1. And again, offense typically always behind defense early in fall camp, and it takes the offense a little bit more time to get going, and that's just football in general, not a Tennessee thing. That's just football in general. But I heard pass pro was specifically not very good. I hope to not hear that for the scrimmage tomorrow. I hope that the scrimmage tomorrow is a little bit different and positive in that regard. So my checklist of things that I want to hear about from the scrimmage, obviously Josh Heupel, maybe he'll enlighten us on some of these, probably not all of these, but from people who are watching the scrimmage and all that is, hey, I want to hear that Josh Heupel walks away from the scrimmage knowing who his quarterback is and his center is, because again, moving into mock game week, all those reps need to be the guy who's going to start against Syracuse. All those reps need to be the guy to prepare for the guy that is going to start against Syracuse. That guy needs to be taking over all those reps, and you need to channel pare those reps down. We talked about it all week long. That's got to happen next week. So I want Josh Heupel to walk away from the scrimmage knowing who his quarterback's going to be and knowing who his center is going to be. I want to hear that more guys participate in the scrimmage who were banged up last week, like Mike Matthews, Chris Brazzell, Ricky Gibson, Colton Hood, Jeremiah Thielander, some of those guys. I want to hear that the offense starts faster than it did a week ago. I want to hear the defense did better against the run. And I want to hear that the offensive line did a much better job in pass pro compared to what it did in scrimmage number 1. What say you? What are some of the things that you want to hear about coming from scrimmage number 2 that's set to take place today at Neyland Stadium around 9 o'clock in the morning? We'll get those reactions. We'll talk about it all here on Locked On Vols as we continue on here in this preseason. More coming up in segment number 2. Fans respond to the Adidas deal. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights or golf on the green or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends might be trying to squeeze out the last little bit of summer at the lake, at the river, at the beach, maybe getting sunburned a little bit. You could be watching sports and putting some coin in your pocket. New daily promotions, always fun ways to bet. Keeps me dialed up with all the leagues going on right now. Easy to use, fast to pay out, makes every regular season game feel like must-watch events. That's what FanDuel does. And whether I'm placing the same game parlay or watching a bet riding on into the 9th inning on the baseball diamond, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm a part of the action every step of the way. If you're new to FanDuel, listen up. New customers can bet just $5, get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel Sportsbook app today or visit FanDuel.com to go ahead and get started. FanDuel, it's where you can make every moment more. So you've had a little bit of time to sit on it, to stew on it a little bit, and a lot of you guys listening don't care whatsoever, and that's fine. A lot of you guys live and breathe Tennessee football, Tennessee basketball, Tennessee baseball, Lady Vols apparel. And so the move to Adidas that was announced by the university yesterday officially could be a big deal for you, or it could be a deal that's like, I don't care. Like, you guys know me, like, I'm a simplistic guy, right? I don't care about that stuff. However, as I pointed out on the show yesterday, if you're a Tennessee fan through and through, which if you're watching and listening to the show, then I know you are, this should be celebrated. This should be a very big deal because Adidas is taking over the college landscape, investing and reinvesting into name, image, and likeness. At the end of the day, I don't care what the players wear, right? But if I'm a Tennessee fan, I want my team to get the best players at the prep level, to attract the best players out of the transfer portal. With all the opportunities, especially from a corporate branding perspective, that Adidas can offer, that is so appealing. So again, if you don't care about Nike versus Adidas, jerseys and shoes, all that doesn't mean anything to you, that's fine. That is fine. But this should be a big deal for the Tennessee fan because it's going to create so many awesome opportunities in the NIL landscape that is going to be very attractive to those players in high school and in the transfer portal. So, Danny White sat down with VolQuest. Danny White sat down with Knox News. Danny White sat down with this publication. The VP of Adidas sat down with VolQuest and this publication. I mean, everybody was making the rounds the other day, right? And I put up some quotes over here from VolQuest.com, from Danny White, from Chris McGuire, who's the VP of Adidas North America and all that. But, from all these different responses, like you saw, it's been circulating all over social media, right? Like Danny White saying, hey, we know our worth. We know our worth for sure. Actually, I think I've got this quote right here, right now. Yeah, look at this. This is from Danny White. They've been heavily involved in the NIL since its inception. They have an entire division focused on NIL. They have student athletes from all over the country, some of which are competing for our teams right now that have signed up for their NIL program. So there's lots of reasons why we feel that they're the best partner for us as we march into this modern era of college sports. That quote goes on to say, essentially, we know our worth. We know what's going on. We've been to back-to-back Elite Eights. We just made the CFP, okay? Won a national championship 2 years ago in baseball. Tennessee Athletics knows its worth. And there's a quote out there saying, like, hey, we refuse to not be acknowledged, essentially to do business with somebody that doesn't know our worth. And Nike didn't know Tennessee's worth. And that's why Tennessee is with Adidas right now, okay? Here's VFL Jason Swain on Josh and Swain. Of course, we have War Wednesday right here on the show every single week. And this is his partner, VFL Jason Swain. This is what Jason Swain has to say essentially about knowing your worth. I thought this is really interesting, and I thought you guys would really enjoy it. Give this a listen.
I need to drive the point home so you can understand. They don't value you enough as a university, as a program, to pay you what you're worth. How does that make you feel to know that you are not paid what you are worth? Your worth to them is not important as you think it is. How does that make you feel? That's how Tennessee feels. Tennessee is one of the hottest programs in the country, and Nike doesn't see it, and that they don't value Tennessee. So what do you want Tennessee to do? Oh, that's okay. That's okay, Nike. You don't care about us. You don't respect us. You don't value us. We'll take you. We'll take your scraps. While you give all your money to Ohio State and Texas and Alabama and Florida, we'll be happy with your scraps. Just give us your scraps. We okay with that. No, we Tennessee, damn it. We Tennessee, man. You're going to treat us as such.
We Tennessee, damn it. You're going to treat us as such. Sorry if you got kids in the car, but I thought that was a really, really good clip. And again, that just kind of goes to show you, like, hey, this is why this was an absolute no-brainer from a business perspective. Put aside all the NIL opportunities that are to come. Put aside how Adidas apparel has come leaps and bounds since the last time Tennessee was in business with Adidas. Put all that aside. They don't value you. Nike doesn't value you for as much as you're worth. I mean, need more examples? Right? Look at this. Chris Lowe of ESPN. He tweeted this out yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago after the deal was announced, around 6 o'clock. Quote, "The added money for Tennessee and its new 10-year deal with Adidas is substantial and will be shared with athletes. Old deal with Nike was $5.5 million annually. Nike had no interest in going near the yearly value of the deal, approaching $20 million that Adidas was offering." Again, this is from Chris Lowe. Again, quote, old deal with Nike was $5.5 million annually. Nike had no interest in going near the yearly value approaching $20 million that Adidas was offering. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. The stripes, the swoosh, who cares? 5.5 to reportedly around 20 million. Again, from Chris Lowe of ESPN. Like, it's a no-brainer. It is an absolute no-brainer, in my opinion. So everybody, of course, is entitled to their own opinion. But at the end of the day, that's like I was talking with somebody in the YouTube comments. Somebody said, "I can't believe this is news. Who cares? You know, focus on the real things, blocking and tackling and all that. Da, 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 da. This is news. This ain't news." I mean, just because it's not big news to you doesn't mean it's not big news to everybody else, because this is massive news to the fan base. Number one, I don't care about uniforms, okay? But I know I'm in the minority. Everybody else cares about uniforms. But again, this is the going from the very little that you were making with Nike to reportedly, and who knows what that number actually is. Again, that's just a report from Chris Lowe, which very credible. I'm not talking about him in a bad way. Who knows what the deal actually is worth? But if you got those two numbers out there, I mean, it's night and day. It is night and absolute day. So anyway, gonna look at some of the other responses I put out there. I put a tweet out there after the deal was official, saying, now that it's officially official, tell us your thoughts on the move back to the stripes. Big Vol Daddy tweeted and says, "Doesn't matter to me anymore who has the deal as long as they make UT a priority and a flagship of their brand." Again, I don't think that language has been anywhere officially, but that's what it's going to be. Rocky Top Tom says, "I feel like too much importance is placed on the uniform manufacturers and not enough on discipline. Nike or Jordan, Adidas or Under Armour, doesn't matter. This team needs to stop jumping the damn snap count, lining up offsides, and getting beat off the damn ball." I mean, I agree with all that. Yeah, I mean, Tennessee, I mean, that's a separate conversation. Josh Heupel coaches the most undisciplined teams from a penalty standpoint year over year. That's so frustrating. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with the second part of it for sure. But I mean, this is certainly a big deal. Ben says their newer looks work really, really good. That check's going to look good too. I love it. Yep. Volcano says, "Has the money been officially disclosed yet?" Yeah, not officially, just a couple reports out there, but it's going to be worth Tennessee's time for sure. Better uniforms pique interest in young recruits, so I hope they have something to compete with the Nike style. Other than that, I don't IDGAF What are we wearing all the time? Don't care. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Vol villain for the Kevin from The Office, 2 thumbs down. All right. So yeah, I mean, again, there was going to be some backlash. There were going to be some people that don't like this, and that's fair, right? I mean, that's fair. I mean, there is a religious following of Nike. Nike's a great company, right? They do really, really great work. I think everybody knew that there was going to be some backlash when this deal was announced and all that, but end of the day, it's a no-brainer because in this era of college athletics, NIL, revenue sharing, everybody's looking for a way to fund that. And this is going to be a really, really, really big piece of that pie, in my opinion. All right, good stuff there. And again, that quote, that video, obviously courtesy of Josh and Swain, 99.1 The Sports Animal. Go ahead and check them out every single weekday from 12 to 3. And, of course, you can check out Josh Ward for Ward Wednesday, every single Wednesday right here on Locked On Vols. Hey, when we come back, revenge game, October the 11th, Tennessee versus Arkansas. We're going to scout the Razorbacks when we return right here on Locked On Vols. Josh Heupel has won a ton of ball games here at the University of Tennessee. I mean, you really can't dispute the job that he's done here. We can nitpick, and that's what people like me behind a microphone is paid to do. It's what fans are good at, right? And we can nitpick, and well, this doesn't look good in this respect, or the penalties, or the passing game, or yada yada yada. But overall, again, college football playoff appearance, Orange Bowl win, Citrus Bowl win, 2 double-digit win seasons, yada, yada, yada. He's done a fantastic job. However, one of the downfalls for Heupel for a lot of the fans is Tennessee gives the game away every single year. Tennessee loses to a team it shouldn't lose to every single year. Tennessee to South Carolina in 2022. You can make the case Florida in 2023. I know it was in the swamp, but I mean, gosh, Florida was not a good football team that year. And then last year, it was Arkansas in 2024. So, when you have a favorable schedule and when you have so many questions on offense, you really can't afford to have that gimme game, that game where, oh, darn, we just didn't show up that day and we lost it. Last year, that was Arkansas. Bad. I mean, that was the high water mark for the Razorbacks last year, beating Tennessee. It probably allowed Sam Pittman to have another year of coaching, right? I mean, everybody loves Sam Pittman. I like Sam Pittman. I don't think you can find somebody in the SEC that's going to say a bad word about Sam Pittman, but it's no secret he's coaching for his job right now, right? I mean, he was coaching for his job that week against Tennessee, won over number 4 Tennessee, and that probably saved him at least to the end of the year and bought him another year. Anyway, Arkansas comes back to Neyland Stadium this year, and it's a game that Tennessee's going to want revenge. Fresh off a bye as well. Tennessee had a bye week October the 4th, the first bye week of the season, and then we'll welcome Arkansas to Neyland Stadium on October the 11th. Arkansas is going to be Arkansas was 7-6 a season ago, 3-5 in SEC play. This will be Sam Pittman's 6th year. He has 1 game under 500 overall in his Arkansas career. He has 14 under in SEC play, 14-28. Again, 19-14 loss on the road at Arkansas a season ago. Arkansas's offense first year. Here's the thing: I thought it was going to be an absolute train wreck. Bobby Petrino going back to Arkansas to call the plays. I thought it was going to be an absolute train wreck. But honestly, I don't think that was a lot of drama there. I think Bobby Petrino came in. Again, I'm not there on the beat every single day, and I'm not there. I'm not trying to act like I'm around that program every single day. But it seems like he just came in and did his job. And he did a good job of that offense last year. I mean, they had a fumbling problem, but outside of that, it was a pretty decent offense last year. They were, they were 31 points per game. That was 6th in the SEC. They had 34 rushing touchdowns. They ran the ball 184 yards per game. That was 3rd in the SEC. 274 yards passing. That was 5th in the SEC. They allowed 27 sacks, which wasn't great. That was the 2nd most in the SEC. They were -8 in the turnover battle. Again, they had a fumbling problem, 14 fumbles. But overall, I mean, I think that offense is pretty fine. Defensively, not like Mississippi State that we talked about yesterday on the show, but oh my goodness, defensively not very good. They allowed 25 points per game in SEC contests. That was the 2nd most in the league. They allowed 124 rushing yards. That was middle tier in the SEC. That was 7th. The 246 yards passing allowed, that was somehow worse than that of Mississippi State, which was a historically bad defense. Arkansas let everybody and their mother just throw all over them, except for Tennessee. Everybody and their mother just throw all over them. 246 yards allowed through the air. That's what Arkansas gave up. That was dead last in the SEC a season ago. Obviously, they got some nice returners coming back. Taylon Green, who was in and out of the lineup last year with injuries, he got hurt in the Tennessee game. Pretty talented quarterback. I'll tell you what, he was on one against the Volunteers last year, that's for sure. Turnover issues, sure. 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, threw for over 3,154 yards. He completed 60% of his passes. Second leading rusher on the team, 602 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns. He's a good player. He'll be back under center for Arkansas to begin this year. Braylon Russell, one-time big-time Tennessee target in the out of the high school ranks. The bruiser at tailback, 67 attempts, 354 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns. They returned 2 of 5 starters on the offensive line, so that's better than nothing. They returned an impact player in the interior on the defensive line in Cameron Ball. They returned a bevy of linebackers, including leading tackler with 99 stops and 9 TFLs a season ago, Xavier Corey at linebacker. Steven Dix also returned 72 tackles. In the secondary, again, which was not good, they returned a lot of guys who played, but as I'll get to here in a moment, they added a ton in the secondary and at wide receiver. Jaheim Singletary, who had 6 starts a season ago, he's back. Selena Bridges, who played in 7 games, he's also back. A couple of safeties. Larry Worth, who had 34 tackles, he's back. Miguel Mitchell, who played in 3 games before getting injured the rest of the way, he's back. Need help in that secondary big time because that secondary was so bad, and Arkansas made that a point in the transfer portal to go and attack the secondary. They brought in Caleb Wooden from Auburn at the safety position, Kamari Walker at safety from Oklahoma. They brought in a couple of corners in Julian Neal from Fresno State. They brought in Jordan Young from Cincinnati. That's 4 defensive backs they brought in via the transfer portal. They brought in a lot on offense, 4 wide receivers I'll get to here in a moment. But they brought in Mike Washington, running back from New Mexico State, who scored 8 touchdowns a season ago and accumulated 725 yards rushing. They brought in Montana State tight end Raheem Jones, who had 9 receiving touchdowns last year. It's getting it done. And then they brought in 4 wide receivers. 4. Omega Blake from Charlotte, who had 32 receptions, 795 yards, and 9 touchdowns. They brought in Ismail Sissi from Stanford, 20 receptions, 241 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They brought in Raylan Sharp from Fresno State, 51 receptions, 523 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And they brought in Cam Shanks from UAB. We know how bad UAB was a season ago, so if a player transferred to Arkansas from UAB, you know he balled out, and he did. 62 receptions, 656 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, again, that's like the 1,000-foot view of what Arkansas is going to be this year. They're going to be motivated. They're going to be feeling themselves a little bit after beating Tennessee last year, but they got to go on the road to Neyland Stadium. And, again, a coach that everybody likes, Sam Pittman, he'll be coaching for his life for sure. So this is a game that Tennessee absolutely has to win. It's at home. It's against a team that is not very good, preseason ranked way towards the bottom. I think this will be one of those comfortable wins for Tennessee on the year, in my opinion. Scouting the opponent, we have made our way through about half the schedule so far. We talked about Syracuse, ETSU, Georgia, UAB, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. Still to come, the 3rd Saturday in October against Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, New Mexico State, Florida, and Vanderbilt. Will continue scouting Tennessee's opponents as we get closer and closer to kickoff right here on Locked On Vols. Scrimmage number 2, it's happening this morning. What's the big talking points? What's everybody saying? We'll talk about it all right here on your Locked On Vols. Can't thank you enough for being here, making Locked On Vols your morning commute, part of your morning commute, your morning listen each and every single day. I appreciate you guys. Tell your friends, tell your family members that are big Tennessee fans. This is the show for them during football season. Like, this is it. Weekday mornings when you wake up, free and available, and all the news of the day and all the entertainment you want right here on Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys as always. Have a great, safe weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. This is Locked On Vols.